Good morning, guys. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about the cost of being an influencer and what it really takes to do this, because I feel like people have just the wrong idea of how much it costs to be an influencer. So as usual, I am going to be getting ready for the day. I actually do have a flight, so we're going to make this video pretty quick. So when I first started being an influencer, I actually started on Instagram and TikTok. So I was posting videos on TikTok, and I was only doing photos on Instagram because they didn't have reels at that time, which I guess dates me, but it is what it is. Anyway, the only equipment that I had to create content was my phone and a ring light. It was a $20 ring light that I got on Amazon. I still have it and I still use it to this day because it honestly is one of the best purchases that I've ever made. Like, that ring light has brought me through up until this point, and it's been almost 5 years that I've been an influencer. Thing that really kills me when people are like, oh, I can't be an influencer because I don't have the luxury apartment or the bags or the clothes or whatever. I did not have any of that when I started. I did not live here. I didn't even live in LA. I started with just living in my regular girl apartment and creating videos, sharing my knowledge about books. And also I was making videos about what it was like being a biomedical engineering graduate student, like what it was like being an engineer and just like being in the space. So a lot of my videos were talking. And when I posted them on TikTok, it was actually when the 1 minute feature was like pretty new. So I was one of the like yappers that came out of that like TikTok era. For the rest of this video, I am going to go through the different expenses, like monthly expenses and startup expenses that are associated with being an influencer. So once I decided to become full-time, or I guess take this more seriously, I did invest a little bit more, but not right off the bat. Like, I didn't just go out and start buying all these cameras and equipment and, lights or whatever. I think my first major expense was actually registering my LLC to like be an official business. And then I also paid for my website, which is an annual expense, and the domain, also an annual expense. So I bought it straight away because I actually was a blogger way back in the day. So I used to write different tips and give people advice like through my blog on how they could get into graduate school and what were some of the things that they needed for graduate school and stuff like that. So the main expense was my website at the time and also the business registration. But then when I started taking content more seriously, like when I started on YouTube and when I went full time, I started to invest more in my business because a lot of the things that I invest in now, I honestly could do on my own, but I invest in it because it makes it just easier for my everyday life as an influencer. But anywho, after that, I did buy a digital camera. So the first camera I bought was the Canon G7X M3, I believe. I'm pretty sure. I don't have that camera anymore. But then after that camera broke, I ended up buying this camera, which I use a DJI Osmo Pocket 3. So that was an expense. I also got an external hard drive. So just for me to be able to back up my data, but I also used it for my PhD thesis. So it kind of had multiple uses. I still do regularly use it to back up all of my content, like any content that I have from YouTube. So all of these items are actually listed in my storefront, so I'm gonna list them below. So I bought the external hard drive for my data, I bought the camera, and then I started to add on like some monthly expenses. So monthly expenses include for me are Canva, so I use it to edit my thumbnails. I also use it for presentations. I use it for different like Pinterest pin designs. I use it for a lot of different things actually. Like, Canva's a lot more useful than I thought it would be when I originally purchased it. I actually don't even have Microsoft Office, so I don't use that at all, but like I do literally everything on Canva. Also, I pay for QuickBooks. This is a way for me to track my expenses from month to month so I can see like what I spend in the business. I also use that to send invoices. So that is a monthly expense as well. You can use it for payroll, although I haven't used that before. It is like an additional cost. So it's like I guess the Super Pro package or whatever it is. But I have the basic QuickBooks function, which I really like. Like, it makes it really simple for me to do my expenses and taxes at the end of the year. I also pay for my email list. So I don't think a lot of influencers actually have this, but I thought it was super handy because I run group trips. So when I first did my black ski trip, it went viral on TikTok twice. So I ended up creating a wait list for people to join through MailChimp. So I do pay MailChimp every month for that email list, and I will send out updates about different trips that are available. So the black ski trip sold out literally immediately, so if you ever want to go on that trip, know that you have to get on it ASAP. But I do have other trips coming up throughout the rest of the year, and I will send that out through my email list. So that is something that I pay for that I don't hear a lot of influencers talking about. The reason why I got an email list is because I didn't really know the stability of TikTok, which was great on my part because I did that this time last year, and now, currently as I'm recording this, we're trying to just figure out if we're even going to have TikTok, beyond January 19th. So I am happy that I have that because I have a direct line of communication to my followers on people that are interested in the trip. I also use that email list though to survey my audience. So if people like want to go to different destinations, I just use that as a way to get feedback from my audience directly, and people tend to be a lot more responsive via email than they are like if I put it on like an Instagram poll or something like that. So I really do like the email list. It definitely is an additional expense. It really depends on how many people are on the list, right? That how many contacts you're paying for, how many emails you're sending out regularly. But if you're someone that has your own brand, or you want to have your own brand in the future, or you just like want to have a direct line of communication to your audience, I feel like that is a really great way to do it, and it's really easy to set it up. Every now and again, I will clear out the list of people that are like that aren't active contacts, people who like don't even engaged, or if their email like is wrong or something, I will go through and clean out like some of the contacts if I need to. But I really do like that I have that resource because I can just email my people whenever I need to, and I don't have to worry about an algorithm on any of my platforms. Other thing that I pay for monthly is health insurance, because obviously I'm still alive and I need health insurance. Because I live in the US, I don't have universal health insurance. I know people outside the US watch me, so that's why I'm saying this. My health insurance is the highest expense out of everything because I live in the US. So that's kind of annoying. However, I know that I need it because I am a very active person. And also with my family history, like I just think it's important for me to have health insurance. So when my job's health insurance like officially ended, I did immediately get regular health insurance, and I did immediately get like self-employed health insurance, and it really did come in handy for me. I cannot find my eyebrow brush because I did end up using it. So I pay monthly. My health insurance is like $350 a month. But like I said, I think it's worth it. I really care about my health more than anything. And I also these are like life expenses, but I also do pay for working out. Like I really do believe that health is wealth. I don't care how many bags, shoes, whatever it is that I have. Like I will spend the money to be healthy. I don't care. So health insurance is a big one for me. Some people will go without, and that is definitely like a personal decision. It also depends on, of course, like your family history, like a bunch of things. Like health insurance is not simple in the United States. So it is very much like people's personal decision on whether or not they're going to get health insurance and all that stuff. So I have it. I pay for it every single month. It's not as expensive as I expected it to be. However, when I do go to like different doctor's appointments, I may have like slightly higher copays. It really just depends on your plan. It's not very straightforward, like I said. So it's just something that you have to sort out on your own if you want to do this full time. The other thing that I pay for, which is an annual expense actually, is repurpose.io. So I use that to repurpose my content onto multiple platforms, and it's just like a really easy way for me to do it so that I don't have to go to every single platform and manually repurpose my content. And it basically pays for itself because once you set it up and you have like a post that performs well on other platforms and you're a part of that platform's creator programs, then that covers the cost of that expense. So all in all, there really aren't that many expenses that I pay for as an influencer. It is a very lucrative industry, which is why I am always just like, I guess, annoyed when people say like, oh, I don't have the luxury apartment and the big closet and all these bags and blah blah. Like that isn't actually what people Like people that build personal brands, that stuff comes well after they have built their brand. It's not something that you need to start out with, because I will actually tell you that I know quite a few people that have all the design or whatever, and they still don't know how to build a personal brand. They still aren't like a pop and influencer. Like they aren't people that people want to follow and engage with. So having, some material items doesn't make you an influencer. And just because, you may live in a regular girl apartment or whatever, doesn't mean that you can't be an influencer. Like that's where everyone that I know a lot of influencers in this space. Everyone I know, that's where they started out. Like majority of people do not start out with all the full luxury closet. Like it just doesn't happen for the majority of folks. Overall, the expenses are pretty minimal. However, because I'm a travel influencer, occasionally I will have to pay like upfront expenses and then be reimbursed after. So a brand will say like, oh, we'll cover the flight, after you buy it or something, right? Or like I'll get like a flight voucher or I'll get like a credit or something. So that's like requires me to, pay for it upfront and then I get reimbursed afterwards. But I do make sure that I get reimbursed pretty quickly so that it's not like a, big deal for me. I would say that's the biggest expense as a travel influencer. I started traveling on my own dime and started creating content from it. And it was just because it was something that I enjoyed doing. Like I never thought that I was going to be a full-time travel influencer. I just enjoyed traveling. So it just already fit in with my lifestyle that I was already doing. But if you're like, I don't travel at all, but I want to be a travel influencer, like it's not going to line up, babes. It's you gotta like have some experience or have something to post about to be able to do this full time, or to be able to show people like what it is that you can provide to them that is of value. So if you're like someone who's always in the house sitting at home, like don't choose to be a travel influencer, choose to influence about whatever it is that you're doing at home or whatever it is that you know about or whatever like value or experience that you have in your everyday life. Like I said, I started talking about being an engineer and also about books. I really, really love books. So those are things that I spoke about until I had the money to then go travel. And then when I was traveling, I was creating content. And then from there, I became a travel influencer and kind of transitioned into the space. But it wasn't an outright transition. Oh my God, why is this so like inky? I don't know how this happened. But it wasn't an outright transition because I had years of travel content in my phone already to post and speak about, and also my experiences to speak about while I was traveling. So hopefully this video was helpful for you to know like how much it actually does cost. Like I said, it didn't cost me that much to start. I had a phone, a Dream, and a tripod or a ring light rather. Like it wasn't that big of an expense for me. It's honestly a very lucrative industry for a lot of people because you're already paying for your phone, you're already paying for your Wi-Fi, you're already paying for your rent. Like these are things you can just already do, so you don't really have to pay that much to start up. So anyway, like I said, I hope this video was helpful for you guys. If you liked it, let me know by giving it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.